Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I'm Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. Alright, today's content is all about the British and how they put an article out in The Guardian. Now, The Guardian is far left, and we all know that Britain has no guns on it. And they beat the American left to the fact that gun control is not going to work. And they put out some amazing data points which we can use in an everyday conversation with anybody who has questions about should we or should we not violate the Second Amendment in an egregious way and ban firearms. Right? There's some great points here, guys, and we're going to talk about all of them in a second. I want to know those comments in the field below because I want to hear what you guys have to say, because this is a two-way conversation. Does this help? Is this something that you could bring to the table? And should we continue these types of approaches? Because I personally think they're going to work. Now, before we get too deep into the article, which will be in the description box below for your review, we are this close to 300,000 subs, guys. And first of all, just thank you for getting us here, because we could not do this without you. We're making an amazing difference in the gun world, and I really feel like we have this amazing partnership going on. We're driving towards 300, so if you are not subscribed yet, we try to earn your subscription every video. If we don't get it on this one, maybe we'll get it on the next one, but we'd love to have you here. So if that's something that this is down your alley, we'd love to have you here. But now let's get to the actual article itself, okay? So, again, The Guardian is a far left newspaper out of Britain, but check out some of the data points that they brought forward, again, below. The article's name is, "Can an assault weapons ban reduce killings if firearms last 100 years? Bing, 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 bing. Exactly, great job, Britain. Now, here's the first quote. "When firearms are recovered by law enforcement because of their use or suspected use in a crime, the weapons are recorded in a database along with the date of their first retail sale. The amount of time between those two events is known as time to crime and is published by the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, or RATF. Now remember, this is a British author speaking to British population. Okay, so they don't know all of our rules. And this is where it gets really interesting. This is the data points that they start bringing up, because if you recall, one of the main arguments for H.R. 8 and 1446, which were kind of like half-hearted approaches at gun control, which kind of stalled completely, it was all about, we've got to get more time between the time when you purchase and when you get the gun, because that'll be a cooling down period and that'll reduce violent crime and save lives. Enter Guardian article. Averages can be misleading, though. The range here is pretty vast. Guns can be recovered days or decades after purchase, but it is relevant to note that only 7% of cases where the guns recovered less than 3 months since the purchase date. 7%. Okay, does that sound like it's going to change all the world and make all these big differences? Or does it sound like those bills are a little more towards control, not based on statistical data and arguments? Here's where it gets even more fascinating. Firearms remain operational for a century or more, further complicating any path to reform in a country with the highest gun ownership rate per capita in the world. So what they're saying here, guys, is a lot of the arguments don't work. And to the Guardian's credit, it actually sounds like they're approaching this from a pragmatic angle. They're basically saying the arguments that are being put forward are not going to work. And here's some data to back it up, which is important for us. 7% of firearms are basically the time to crime is less than 3 months. 7%, and these stats are available on the ATF. They're on the internet. They're there. If firearms do last 100 years, what's the point if we've already got 300 plus million firearms in the United States? Banning the new ones, is that going to stop the crime? No, it is not. And that's the whole point here, guys. These data points, which the Guardian brought up to the table, are excellent points, and amazingly, they're extremely anti-gun, but they're bringing these up, and they beat the American left to it. Now, what we need to do is continue to use these types of arguments in videos like this, on channels like this, in conversations with everyday Americans, because a lot of people don't have the same strong, fervent passions about the Second Amendment. They're on the fence. These types of data and these types of statistical arguments are what brings them to the side of freedom in the Second Amendment, because the arguments that they're being fed from the left can easily be undermined and destroyed by simple data and simple statistical analysis like we do all the time on this channel. We need to bring more people into the fold, and utilizing the data, the raw data, and actually analyzing of what would actually work or what would not work is how we're going to do it. And that's what we're all about on this channel. But let me know, guys, what do you think? Is this something that's helpful? Is it not something that's helpful? Where you're at. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And until tomorrow, I'm Braden. See you later.